Hi, everybody, and welcome to Brownie Bites. It's the post-game edition against the Ravens, played right here in Cleveland. The Browns lose 23-16. In fact, they had a 10-point lead in the first half going into the second. But Daryl Ruiter, I got to ask you, is the story about the score or is the story about the quarterbacks?
Well, you know how it goes here in Cleveland. It is absolutely about the quarterback and the fact that Dillon Gabriel is in concussion protocol. We learned that from head coach Kevin Stefanski. He did say after the game that if Dillon Gabriel does clear protocol, he'll remain the starting quarterback. But if not, Shedeur Sanders will go ahead and start next week in Vegas against the Raiders. But it's about Shedeur Sanders. Let's be honest about it. That's where all the conversation is going to be, how he looked, some positives, some negatives. You can kind of see why they weren't in a rush to put him on the field. I think a lot of second guessing about why Kevin Stefanski did not make sure he got some first-team reps. Shedeur had mentioned in the postgame, hey, this is the first time I threw to these guys all year because I never got those reps. So
first time ever with Ethan Posick.
Yeah, that too. So not only throwing to Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku and those guys, but working with the offensive line and whatnot. And, Kevin mentioned after the game that you got a rookie quarterback as a starter, got to get him all the reps as possible. And if you've been watching Dillon Gabriel and judging by fan reaction, it's not gone well. And so it's understandable why they need to focus and practice and making sure he's getting all those reps. The problem is, though, when you have another rookie like Shedeur who is a play away, and early on, it was a little frazzled, a little scattered out there. Let's be honest about it. And then he settled in a little bit. So I think that if he is able to get those reps this week, assuming Dillon Gabriel will not be available, I think that you're going to see a more settled version of him out there against the Raiders next week.
Well, just face it. I can go all the way back to Dr. Dave Mays. If you're the backup quarterback in Cleveland and the starting quarterback isn't getting wins, that the backup quarterback is always going to be the most popular guy in town. I'm just kind of wondering where this is going to go. They'll probably have to elevate Bailey Zappi next week if Gabriel is still in protocol. I'm starting to wonder, just if you know a guy is one snap away, should he not have had 5% of the snaps? Because I think that's what the critics are going to go after Kevin Stefanski on. Is like, a guy's one snap away. How could he? I can understand not being totally prepared, but he should have been ready.
Well, I'll go a step further. They didn't have an emergency quarterback today.
Right.
League rules mandate that your third quarterback, your emergency quarterback, is on your active 53. Bailey Zappi's on the practice squad. So even if they had elevated him for this game to have three quarterbacks, Shedeur would have needed, to still be your emergency quarterback, the third quarterback, because Bailey would have to be number two because he's in elevation. You can't elevate from the practice squad for your emergency quarterback. That's just the way it plays out. So, and Stefanski did mention after the game, they will look at the quarterback situation this week as far as the depth and figure out if they're comfortable with what they have, or do they need to bring in another guy to help get them through this. But it is unfortunate that Dillon Gabriel got concussed, or I should say he got put in the concussion protocol after getting checked near halftime there. And, Shedeur, he had the whole second half to operate. But I do find some fault in that. I don't feel like organizationally they've done either of these rookie quarterbacks any favors.
The second they picked Shedeur, they didn't help either one of these guys.
No, well, not just that. It's just the supporting cast just isn't where it needs to be to help these guys grow and develop in game, right? We know the struggles that they have in the receiving room. We know the offensive line got banged up again today. And the injuries that they've had up front. So protection's been challenging too. And then on top of it, just how they've gone about this process of preparing these guys. So they've not done either one of these kids any favors. Now, I said all along that I felt that Shedeur was the better quarterback between the two players. But guess what? Shedeur was a fifth-round pick. Dillon Gabriel was a third-round pick. And you know how things work in pro sports. And this isn't just an NFL thing. It's the same thing in baseball and basketball. The GM likes their high picks to get the opportunities first. And since Dylan was the higher pick, it's not a surprise that they prioritized getting him ready. But today's game, Andy, is a prime example of what happens when you don't do that. He was a play away, okay? You have an undersized quarterback, as it is, and Shedeur basically got thrown into the fire. Now, his debut statistically did not look great, but that's not Shedeur's fault. And the other thing, too, is he made some pretty nice throws, too. Oh, by the way, Dylan Gabriel is incapable of making, and especially that third down throw in the end zone to Gage Lavardin. It got broke up. Great PBU there by the Ravens secondary, but that was just a picture-perfect throw from Shedeur. And then, of course, then there's the negative side and the bad habits he's going to have to break. You can't retreat from the offensive line or the line of scrimmage when you're under pressure the way we saw him again do. We saw it in the preseason. We saw it again Sunday afternoon against Baltimore. He's got to break that habit. And the happy feet. He has happy feet in the pocket. We all know what he dealt with at Colorado and the lack of protection he got there. And so if he breaks those two habits, I think he's going to be just fine if you're patient with him and you give him some time to develop. You see, and we saw, I think, some of the raw skill that he has. But now they got to do something to help this kid so he does develop. And then also, too, conversely, Shedeur has to do his part in the developmental process, too, and, making sure he's doing whatever the organization's asking of him.
I thought there were a couple things that he said in the post-game press conference that were super interesting. One, like, he feels bad for Gabriel. I mean, he legitimately, I mean, it's not like, you could see that there was some emotion that he's like, this isn't kind of the way I really wanted to be able to step out on the field. The other thing was what Myles Garrett said about him, about the fact that he doesn't complain, he doesn't blank and moan. He just goes out there and, he talked about those guys on the practice squad or the second teamers that he works with. I mean, he talked a lot about them after the game and kind of recognizing what work he is getting. He knows those guys around him have tried to make him a little bit better or made him better.
Yeah, I mean, he heard the boos for Dylan. He heard the chants for him. And he's just said after the game, look, guys, this isn't about me. I'm not a distraction. It's going to be taken that way. That's not fair to Dylan. And also, too, I think he was implying, let's not be happy that I'm playing because now Dylan is hurt or in concussion protocol right now. And I thought it was a very classy press conference by Shedeur after the game, and he has displayed nothing but class when talking to us in these settings. Always complimentary of his teammates, sticking up for his teammates, being critical of himself. He flat out said after the game, I did not play well. It's totally understandable that things didn't go great for you, but for him just to say, you know what, not to my standards, I didn't play well, and if I get an opportunity next week, I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to get with my receivers because I need to know every little detail, what they do, what they like, and things like that. Same thing with the offensive line, what they do, what they like, how they do their jobs, so that I, as a player, am better for them. And I just think that that's a very mature thing to say, and again, plenty of reason to complain about the circumstance or be frustrated with the circumstances he's been dealt, and even with the lack of reps. He said, that's out of my control. I can't focus on that. It's not my problem. I get these hungry dog or whatever they call them after practice drills and stuff like that. I make the most of it. He made a joke that he and Gage are the hungry dogs on the team, and so because they work together every day after practice. So I just a lot of maturity with him, and again, I think with some patience and some opportunity to actually develop in practice. The Browns might have. I'm not saying they have, but they might have stumbled into something here.
We shall see. Daryl, I think we got plenty to talk about throughout the week. Just one more thought on this game. I mean, we could go into and there are a million other storylines that could have played out. Myles Garrett had a great game today, but by this, it's all going to be quarterback. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, it is. And, Myles Garrett, first player in NFL history to have 12 or more sacks in 6 straight seasons. He just every week he's setting a new record. And then, 4-sack performance. I think he's the 4th player in NFL history since sacks became a stat in '82. You got to put that qualifier in there. Right. But He's the fourth guy with multiple games in a season of 4 or more sacks as well. And he even said after the game, he was asked, what else can you do? He said, I got to get the ball out. Strip sack can change a game. Fumble can change a game. And that's what you like to hear from your quote-unquote leaders in your locker room. What more can you do, even though you've already done quite a bit? Love, by the way, Devin Bush, the pick 6. Loved that. That was great. Special teams made a couple plays today, so that was good.
Didn't lose the game for him.
Yeah, didn't lose the game for him, but obviously, as we've spent the majority of this postgame here talking about Shedeur Sanders, because that's what folks are going to be engaging with this week. And again, I'm guessing that he's going to start in Las Vegas because the protocol is the protocol, and it's hard to get through that protocol in a single week. It has happened before.
Sure, every concussion is different.
Right. It has happened before, but I also kind of feel like Kevin Stefanski wants to make sure that whoever is starting is getting a full week of practice. And be honest about it, like him not, like if he can't practice on Wednesday, can you really start him with one less day of practice? You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so my gut tells me we're going to see Shedeur Sanders until Dylan Gabriel is healthy again, unless Shedeur lights it up. And then, well, that opens yet another can of worms, and we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
I won't even bring up Deshaun Watson. That way we can do another brownie bite and we can talk about that. Because there's a 21-day window there that could be open. But we'll talk about that in a future Brownie Bite. He's Daryl Ruiter. I'm Andy Baskin. Thanks for watching us on 92.3 The Fans YouTube channel.